this Thursday, the new Matrix movie trailer was released, right? Great news for those of you who are, let's say, fans of the Matrix series. But the new movie is called Matrix Resurrections. Sounds Catholic to me. And on a side note, as you know, the first three movies were directed by the Wachowskis brothers. Sounds Polish to me. Now they are sisters. I don't know if you know that, but both of them, guys, they've changed their gender to women. So now they are sisters. That's on a side note. I was surprised when I read about this, but well, this is the world we live in. Anyway, going back to the trailer. Any trailer, specifically this one, is always like 2 or 3 minutes, right? It gives you always the glimpse what's going to happen, let's say, in a 2-hour-long movie. So you have just 2 minutes. It's really difficult for the producers and for the directors, for the actors maybe even, to choose the best scenes, to tell you what's going to happen, but not really completely. So you will go to the movie theater, okay? They want your money. You have to come there. But I want to tell you something so you are interested in my movie, but still you have to come and see. That's the whole purpose of trailers. They give you just 2 minutes. You can see the glimpse, just the parts of the movies, but then you have to come and see. This is what Jesus is doing. He's giving the trailer, okay? I'm going to die, but I'm going to be resurrected. So it's gonna be great. When I was reading the comments on YouTube on Matrix Resurrections movie, more than like a couple of millions right now views. And there is always someone who doesn't like the story, even looking for 2 minutes of the trailer. That's Peter today, okay? This is this guy always somewhere. This troll, right? This is how we call them. He doesn't like the movie by judging just 2 minutes. Just 2 minutes. Well, he wants to be nice, so he takes Jesus. You shouldn't have said so, you know. Jesus gets upset. I would get upset. I just told you the parts, the main parts. I'm gonna die and I'm gonna be resurrected, but you don't know the whole story, why I'm doing this. So Peter thinks, I know better. That's the terrible movie. You should change the story. So Jesus says, no, 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 no. You are wrong. You don't know the whole story. Get behind me, Satan. Satan, of course, means that not the spirit in this case. The whole meaning behind the term itself. Satan, as you know, is the fallen angel who said no to serve God. So this is what we can become Satans. When we don't listen to God's will, when we don't do His will, we are against God. So that's why Jesus says, you are against me, get behind me, okay? I am the leader, I am the teacher, I am God. You don't know the whole story. Stand behind me, you are second. You are not first. You are not the director of this movie. You've just seen the trailer, and you don't like it. I just imagine what Peter had to feel at this point. A few minutes before, he said, you are the Messiah, because the question was asked, and this question is asked to each one of us actually every day. Who is this guy for you on the cross? Who is he for you? Not for the world, not for the world, but for you. And that question has to be answered by each one of us, by each one of us. A couple of weeks ago, maybe even 2 weeks ago, I went to the school here just to visit kids in the classrooms. When I went to the 3rd grade, I asked the question, do you know who I am? Yes. Okay, who am I? Father Witold. Very good, very good. Do you like me? Yes. Okay, second. Third question, who is the best priest at Lourdes? I was expecting Father Brian, right? That's the answer. Because he has been here for 7 years. Believe it or not, they said, you are the best. Okay. But there is always Saint Peter, right? There is this little girl in the first desk, and she's like, no, Father Brian. So I approached her, and I said, I will change your mind, okay? She's like, no, you will not. I said, give me a couple of months and we will see what happens. There is always Saint Peter, always. You know this kind of guys in your life, you know, or even in your families. There is always someone who is against, which is good. So then you can have a discussion. But when the question is asked, who is this guy for you, you have to answer. Maybe Jesus is asking you, do you know who I am? Uh-huh. Do you like me? Mm-hmm. Who is the best? God. Maybe not you, really. Who is your God? This question was asked in a very specific place. You have to always remember that Caesarea Philippi was a city, a village, 25 miles up north from Galilee, actually, from the Lake of Galilee. And that was the place where you had a lot of temples for different gods because of the Roman Empire and so on. But the name itself, Caesarea Philippi, comes from the history of Israel. As you know, at this time of Jesus, Israel was conquered already by the Roman Empire. And the emperor itself, who lived in Rome, was regarded as God. God. This is God. This is not a human being. This is God. And so, when we had the king of Israel, he divided the kingdom for his 4 sons into 4 parts. And one of the parts was up north, but belonged to Philip. And so Philip was like, I want to be, if you cannot conquer your enemy, you have to become a friend with him. So he built the temple for Caesar, who is God. So you worship God, who is Caesar, in Caesar, right? But he said, but I rule over this territory, so it's going to be Philippi. So this is how you go, how you have it, Caesarea Philippi. So that's why Jesus is going there today, and he's asking this question, probably maybe in the front of this temple. Who am I? And you have this answers. Oh, maybe one of the prophets, Elijah, or maybe John the Baptist was resurrected. This is what happens when you ask kids this sometimes easy question. You don't expect the right answer, but surprising one. And there is always this little girl, the Saint Peter, who says, yeah, you are the Messiah. Okay. But you don't know the whole story. You don't know the whole story. You've just seen the trailer. Maybe a good one, maybe a bad one, but you don't know the whole movie. So let's give it a chance and watch it. That's why Jesus says, you have to, each one of us, each one of you, has to take up your own cross, which is not easy. We don't like, as human beings, we don't like suffering. Okay? No one likes it. We always take painkillers. We have painkillers for everything, right? We have drugs for everything. Or there is terrible headache. Advil, ibuprofen, whatever works for you. You just take it. Saint Peter is trying to be a painkiller for Jesus. You know what? Change your story. Let's just make it disappear, okay? You don't have to do it. Like all the suffering stuff, no one likes it. Let's change the movie. But that's why Jesus says, no. You are thinking not as God does, but as human beings do. You don't understand. You have to take up your cross. Suffering cannot be dismissed. Suffering has to be welcomed. With God's grace, it's possible. That's why Jesus died on the cross. Terrible suffering. So much pain, and no painkillers in this case. No painkillers. I always dream kind of about having the church with the bloody crucifix. We don't like suffering, honestly, and we don't like blood. Just even look at our crucifix here. Do you see any blood there? No. Actually, you see gold robe on Jesus. Maybe once a year, it's good to watch The Passion by Mel Gibson, especially on Good Friday. Many people do it. Good Friday, I go to the church for the liturgy, come back home. Of course, there is no dinner, right? But it's Good Friday, we are fasting, and I watch The Passion. It really helps to go deep into the suffering of Jesus and still experience the trailer like the apostles. I just see the parts of the story, but I don't know the whole movie. The whole movie is, of course, but Jesus will be resurrected, like he says. So I'm going to be resurrected, and I will be back. And you don't understand it now, but you will. You will. By the way, there is going to be a sequel of The Passion. Mel Gibson is right now shooting the second movie about the resurrection and what happened probably with the apostles. So the Acts of the Apostles will be a whole movie. For us right now, it's easy to come to the church. We know the whole Bible, right? I hope we do, at least the best parts of it. And then we know the whole story. But at this point, the apostles had no idea what Jesus was talking about. So again, I know Peter is like this little girl at school. He thinks he knows everything, he's smart, but he's not. He's not. He doesn't know the whole story. Back in Michigan, when I was a seminarian, we had the morning mass for the seminarians every day in the chapel. Once, our rector, who was an American priest, was preaching from the pulpit, in English, of course. And so finally, when he was done, he sat down. You always have this kind of silence for like 1 minute. And when he sat down, Siri in his pocket said, "I didn't understand what you said." And then I realized smartphones are really smart. If they cannot understand, how St. Peter could. So this is just the trailer. And the whole movie is the resurrection, by the way, like Matrix Resurrections, which is coming out this Christmas. Again, good movie, hopefully better than the previous ones. And if you haven't seen all of the series, maybe it's time to watch them, because I'm going to use some scenes in my homilies in the future. And let's just do what St. Peter did. Let's say, you are the Messiah. I don't know the whole story, but I believe that what you are saying is true. Okay? And I believe this is faith. I believe. This is the story. The best story that we have ever heard. The story of Jesus, the story of love, but died for us so we can live eternally. So this is the trailer. If you do not understand something, try not to be a Saint Peter, okay? Always trust and come to him. Because he knows the whole movie of your life. What's going to happen tomorrow, next week, next month, next year, in 10 years. He knows, he knows. So the best way is to just say, I believe you are in charge. You are the Messiah, and that's who you are. You are God, my God. So yeah, coming this Easter into your lives again. Like if you go to the movie theaters, you have like 20 minutes of trailers before the movie. It's annoying. But as I said, they want you to understand just a part of the story so you can come and see. That's what Jesus says. Come and see. Come and see. Especially on Easter. On Easter. The new part of this great story. Just a trailer now, but let's just do what St. Peter did. I believe you are God. I don't know the whole movie, but I hope it's going to be great. So let's pray that we will do the same. We'll approach God with open hearts and open minds, so we will understand what he's saying, not like Siri, okay? So we are smart people, smart people. Let's pray that God will always welcome us, and we will approach him with complete trust that he knows the whole movie. We don't. We always just see